welcome back to OTTB on Tap. When did this original series thing come in? Did you write that?
It's been this whole season.
It said original series?
On our art, it says that.
Okay.
It says it in our episode descriptions. Where have you been, Neve? It's an original series. RRP. Welcome back to OTTB on Tap. I'm Emily, and we are here today with an original series, RRP Trainer Chronicles.
I'm just cut out of the podcast now. Today we're catching up with Chelsey O'Brien. She's a returning trainer and ambassador for Pastured Place and a fan favorite here on the pod. Last time we talked, she introduced her 2025 makeover horses, Peppy and Fuzzy, and shared how she balances horses, family, and giving back.
Also, I sent you this outline several days ago.
Yeah, like I had time to read it.
Who didn't read it? Also, there's no outro.
I read it for once early, not 5 minutes before we talked.
I know. You did a good job.
Proud of myself.
All right. Since then, Chelsey's been busy figuring out which disciplines each horse will shine in. Peppy has gone hunter showing. Fuzzy is going a little Western. And Chelsey even showed some of her, yearlings that I was like, how do I say this? Yearlings that you birthed?
Yes. Fold. I call it when the lay people.
There we go. That's the word.
When the lay people ask me about what I do for a job, I'm like, I don't know how to put this, but I'm like a midwife for horses.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. We're off to a great start. Some yearlings that she foaled at the Virginia Thoroughbred Association Futurity. So lots of ground to cover today. Let's jump in. So welcome back. Oh gosh, I've got a lot to say here. Chelsey, welcome back. Last year you brought Ubi from Pastured Place to the makeover and ran barrels. This year you've got two new horses, Peppy and Fuzzy. How did you start deciding which direction each one should go? Big question to start off with.
Whoa. Straight to the punch. Coming out the gate fast. Fuzzy was pretty I already knew. Both of them conformationally is why I decided to their discipline. Peppy looks like your stereotypical hunter boy. And even before I ever saw him move, I was like, I bet this is a hunter. He's got that big blazed face. He's got 3 big, tall white stockings and 1 smaller sock, but he just looks like your quintessential hunter. And lo and behold, I got on him, and day 1, I was like, yep. And then the first time I cantered him around, I was like, yep, he's a hunter. And then Fuzzy is perhaps one of the stockiest off-track thoroughbreds I have ever seen.
Really?
Yes. Her chest, coming off the track, her chest was huge. Rivals some rope horses that I've seen. And so I knew that she was suited for the Western discipline. She's got this huge hip. She has a huge booty. And she's overall very well balanced. But I knew that was a barrel horse in the making.
I think he also, if I recall correctly, gave you a major side eye when you tried to put a Western sock on him.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know about this. And then I talked to the animal communicator, and she was like, he was just really confused about this because everybody who's ever seen him was like, this thing was born to jump. This thing was born to be a hunter.
That's amazing.
He was like, I never considered that there would be any other options. That's all I've ever thought I wanted to do in my life.
That's amazing.
And I was like, hey, that's hands for him.
Was that Jana?
Yes.
She's so amazing.
We have an appointment coming up here on the 3rd to check in with the 2 before we go and see what they want leading in.
Maybe I should do that before I go to the makeover.
I'm wacky.
No, I loved it. And Oscar had a lot of interesting things to say when I talked to him. And I'd love to know how he's feeling now because he's miles different than he was back then.
Yeah, when I went last year with Ubi, we had the check-in before, and obviously the year before, I had a little PTSD from getting there and then not being able to show. And my concern was how much concrete there is there and just walking on the hard ground. And then I put hind shoes on them on UB because I was scared that he was going to get footsore while we were there. And I like got all this magic cushion and all the things. And I put like pouring pads in, like literally did the most. And then he hated it. Like he hated it. He hated it so much that like he made it one weekend with the hind shoes and the pouring pads, and we had to cut out the pouring pads and we had to take the hind shoes off. And he told Jana that it felt like he had ankle weights on and it was making him really uncomfortable.
Oh my God.
And I was
that's
like,
so funny.
I didn't think about that. I was trying to help you, buddy. And he was like, stop doing, you're doing too much. And I was
You're
like,
doing too
okay.
much.
Yeah, I tend to do that. So
That is so funny. It would be really interesting to get Oscar read again now.
Yeah.
Because he's come so far.
Yeah.
I think we're going to dig into your second discipline selection a little bit later, but let's talk about some training and progress updates.
So we're going to start with Peppy. He's been out showing in the hunters, and what's that been like with him?
I hate to be like, wow, this has been so easy, but it's been pretty easy.
Based on the photos, he looks like he's just okay.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. He can look at jumps sometimes, like just new things that he hasn't seen or been exposed to. I don't have a lot of filler at home. I try to make hay jumps and but I don't have flower boxes and all the things that somebody should have if they're trying to train a hunter, like roll tops and brick walls and all of that. We did have some setbacks in our training because he got a really bad hoof abscess. And so it blew, and then he was still a little off, and then we did MagnaWave on the foot, and that seemed to really help. And since then, it's just been like, okay, we got to catch up here a little bit. We lost a little bit of time. I don't think the last time we talked about, like, his first horse show, I took him to the horse show, and I was expecting that it was going to be hard, but he literally went trailer to show ring. We did a little warm-up, but he was perfect. Like, some of them, you get off the trailer and you're like, oh, you need to go for a lunge. Or, am I going to be leaping through the air? No, Peppy just like literally.
Not even getting on today.
Yeah, and the first show I ever took him to was the little local hunter open flat class kind of thing. And so there was like a lot of small kids on ponies that weren't navigating the ring very well. And I was like, oh my God. Why do I do this to myself? And I think like the first class I ever rode him in was like, it was a pretty small arena. I'd say 75 by 125 at best. And there was like 14 of us in it.
Oh my God.
And, and a lot of them were like children. I would say 90% of the class was children, and
oh wow,
and they like were running up his butt and going up 2 inches between us, passing us, and Peppy's just like whatever, and I was like, I really,
oh my God,
and like I talked about it the last time, I had concerns because I'm gonna be honest, like I think I've ridden trained unraced OTTBs, but I'm not sure that I've really done many of them. I mostly get things that have raced.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you that. Do you feel like there's been advantages or disadvantages or anything different because he didn't?
He trained, so he did have those. Yeah. He worked out. He saw things. He worked out of the gate and all of that, but he didn't have the race atmosphere or anything. So who knows? Like maybe that's why he doesn't associate like going somewhere
chaotic.
Yeah, he's just, the only thing that I'll say that he does is he's pretty stoic. So when I've taken him places, he doesn't get nervous. He doesn't act funny. He doesn't get up, but his duels do get a little loose. But that's literally it. He doesn't spook at anything. He's just like,
he's like pretty, more of an internalizer.
Yeah. And he's pretty much all business.
Until so you get to the makeover, he's going to hear you and be like, oh, it's on.
Yeah, I know. That's what happened with Yui. But yeah, and so that was the first show. Then we dealt with the hoof abscess and then lost a little bit of time, got him back up and going. And then I took him to his first jumper show. So I was thinking like this was going to be a good lead into things like, cause we had been doing small courses at home. And so I was thinking like, there wasn't going to be a lot of filler and there wasn't going to be a lot of things to look at. But honestly, it was mostly like hunter looking jumps, brick walls, stone walls, hay bales, roll tops. And honestly, the only thing that he looked at was the roll top. And I was so unbelievably proud of him because I just brought him, like did a little tiny warm up in like their little itty bitty Like it's hardly bigger than my round pen. Single jump.
No filler to be seen, and then you have to go
there. Schooling rounds jumper shows, so you pay $35 per round or whatever, so you don't get a warm up. So I was like, okay, let's just do it. And so we went in, and he looked at the roll top, the first jump, but then after that, he was like, oh. And then the second round I went in, he was like, oh, I got this. And like through the second round, I was awesome. Like, okay, he's getting it. This is cool. And then the photographer posted the pictures, and I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to be so poor. He literally doesn't take a bad photo.
He does not take a bad photo.
Yep.
No, so, his little knees are to his eyeballs. It's so cute.
Oh my gosh, and it doesn't even feel like that. Like his jump is nice. Somebody could totally equitate that. Because I have one horse my personal horse, he sees a jump, and if he jumps with his knees like that, like he's jumping you out of the tack. Like
they crack their back over the top of it, and you're like,
like Peppy's nice and even and flat, and like the cute little hunter knees. Like he was literally born to do that. He was born to do that job. Right now, where the lead changes are like there, but like sometimes it's not 100%, and so it's just a matter of I'm fine-tuning that. Now I'm hitting lessons every week with my hunter trainer so that he can, because the problem is that I'm very winglish, so I really have to tighten up my riding to get a little more polished, because anybody can yeehaw around, but I'm just trying to
I need more of your yeehaw in my life, I think.
How do they score the changes in the makeover? Can you do simple changes, or are you supposed to have?
Yeah, I feel like I read through it, and I feel like they prefer you to, if you don't have a change, to do a simple change or something like that.
I think so. I guess we'll find out.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah. I feel like there's something like that where you think you can do either, but I feel like you can. I don't know. I did read through all of the.
It's probably better if you have a flying change, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's also like
I'm hoping, praying, wishing that we get all of our changes over the fences, and then I don't have to do it.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah,
just do that. Just do that, Chelsey. What else would you be doing?
Not just.
I don't have a right leg canner, Chelsey. But you should see what I was doing today with my horse. It was really not getting us any closer to the makeover, really. But anyway,
hey, listen, the power. I think I even posted something today. The power of the tongue. You have to speak positive into the world, because I am literally the queen of like self-deprecating jokes, and I'm trying not to do that.
You have to manifest it.
Yeah, because Chelsey manifested her shoulder getting dislocated yesterday at the Yearling show, because I said, who's going to rough up my shoulder the most here?
Oh, no. Have you dislocated it previously?
Oh, yeah. This is like number 13 and the third time.
That's the way. I was going to say, when you've done it a couple of times, we have a friend who his literally comes out of the socket all the time, and he'll just pop it back in himself. He's just told me stories of just having to do that on his own. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, that's a third time this year. Prior to this year, I had babied it so much, and I hadn't dislocated it in 6 years. Then a warm blood did it to me. It wasn't an OTTB. It was a warm blood.
Exactly.
And
I'm really enjoying this very fresh version of Chelsey, by the way.
I'm very punchy. I'm very tired.
I love it.
Remember when we talked last time and I said, oh, I'm so calm and everything's so easy and I'm not going to stress about it. Now it's the crunch time, and now there's new
You
Chelsey.
did warn us that this would happen. Oh boy.
But yeah, so a warm blood dislocated my shoulder sometime in the winter, and then I fold, like, total we fold 38, but I think I fold 30, at least 35. No, I did 34.
Goodness.
Yeah, and then
wow.
Actually,
no wonder you're tired. I know that's been months ago, but still.
Makeover. I know everybody complains, oh, things happen to their horses, but more things have happened to me than the horses this year.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, I had from like March until now, I've either been sick or injured this entire time. It was like first I got RSV, then I got a stomach virus.
Oh my God, you did?
Yes, and then I got COVID, and then I got Lyme disease. And
oh my God.
I'm not having fun.
Oh, Chelsey.
Anyways.
You poor thing.
They say everything comes in threes, so that seems like more than three. Yep. So can it stop?
Did you get to 6 yet? Because now you've restarted the clock.
Honestly, I'm just going to bubble wrap myself until October. There's not going out and
put you in one of those big sumo.
Can you put her in one of those bubbles?
One of those like balls.
Yeah, those balls
people bounce around.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we bring those to the makeover?
Oh my God. I almost changed my freestyle. I know. I almost changed my freestyle to literally my horse being like completely wrapped head to toe in bubble wrap because I was over it.
Oh, honestly, that's brilliant.
I know.
Unwrap him.
Just unwrap him. Yeah. Besides some of the moments that you talked about, did Peppy give you any kind of funny stories, or how did he handle the warm-ups? Like the hunter warm-ups are bananas. He's just a good boy.
Oh,
he just gets in there.
I feel like I owe barrel racers an apology after all the times that I've told you guys, yeah, the warm-up in the barrel racing is insane. Blah, 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 blah. Kids running out in front of you. Listen to me. It is way scarier to be coming down a line and a little pony kid cuts in front of you on an OTTB that you're like, oh, we're cranking down this line. I was trying to get the 7. I don't have a break right now. I'm going to jump you, little pony kid.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I went to a local fair show or whatever. It's right down the road. And I did the low hunter and I did the thoroughbred hunter. And Peppy was the champion. There was a class like 14 and we were champion in our division. And it's literally the second time I've done showing courses on him. It was also like 100.
Amazing.
It was like 100 degrees out. It felt like it wasn't 100 degrees, but it was definitely like 92.
Everybody's cracking up. Emily is cracking up right now. This is when I wish that we were actually recording the video because I think we're all really at 11 right now.
Yep.
Except nobody wants to see this.
No, I'm so
maybe
glad.
next time.
I'm so glad.
We should do that at some point.
I know.
Literally,
I'll make sure I don't look like a drowned rat.
At
least you're clean.
Not you.
I got hay.
To be fair.
Like my hair is a mess. I look like I don't even know what you would describe me as, but it's not good.
Will we look like Travis and Taylor though? Because I don't know that we can pull that.
No, we have glam lighting. It's different. And a glam.
Yeah. I have a ring light somewhere.
I have a ring light, but it only just fills it because otherwise it would be pitch black.
I can only do so much.
Anyway,
we are getting very off track for people who can't see what we're talking about.
Okay.
Wait, we've talked about Fuzzy. You skipped the whole part.
Oh what about Fuzzy Wuzzy?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, go on.
And then there's Fuzzy. She's a mare. She's spicy. And she's been... Has she been doing?
This is derailed.
All right, tell us about Fuzzy and her evolution and what you've been doing with her.
Okay, obviously because Fuzzy is basically my own horse. My horses all fall on the back burner. So anyways,
of course,
there's been times of consistency and then times of inconsistency and then times of consistency. But obviously we're very consistent now. And so when we first started, I was trying to think of what I was going to tell you guys last night of what it was like to ride her before. And do you know like French Bulldogs?
Yeah.
You know how like
I know of them.
Have you ever held one though?
They're like they're very muscular. And
there's no bend to their body. And that's what it felt like riding Fuzzy the first time. Because it just felt like everything was muscle bound and she was so tight and she just kept swinging her head up and down and up and down. So the big thing with her was just getting her to loosen up and stretch and listen. And I think I've told you guys before, I don't do a lot of showing with the horses throughout the winter. Or if we start in December, then I might hit a few shows towards the end of foaling season, but that takes up my whole life on top of working at the barn and the other training horses and stuff. So then come basically May, June, July, then it just gets wild. And so with her, one time I took her to a barrel race to pony there because I was like, I'm not sure if she's ready to ride off property yet. But basically where I'm going with this is I just tried to develop like really good strong connection with them, a sense of trust and stuff. For the first few months of training with me, they don't really go off property that much. I'm just focused on getting them relaxed, long and low, trying to improve the quality of their trot and movement in general, and then start to slowly add in the other things. So with her, because she was like a little bulldog, it was a little hard to get her to let go. But now she's seriously so chill. I don't know if I'm just getting better at training horses or I just keep getting really nice horses or what it is. But both her and Peppy have been so easy. I mean, awesome. she babysits my 17-year-old barrel horse at the barrel races. It's actually insane. And
so cool.
Obviously, Yubi plays a big part in this because I can pony anything off of Yubi, so I take him to the barrel races. So her first experience in those crazy warm-up pens was ponying off of Yubi because I'm only one person.
So nice.
And so he brings a lot of confidence to the horses and stuff because he's not an aggressive horse or bold or mean or anything. He's just, I'm here to do my job and you can stay with me. And he's just very cool. And so I think he transfers that to them. And yeah, she's just been super good. And when I take her places, I took her to the Double C Ranch show, and I really didn't know what to expect because I was like, we haven't really worked on all this stuff. We just started side passing. We did the test for the makeover was the same test that for riding pattern. Yeah, for the ranch
for
work.
Competitive trail or
ranch
for ranch work.
Yeah,
okay.
So I'm doing ranch with her, barrels and ranch.
Okay.
So we did the little
so you've decided on her.
Yeah, I took her to the ranch show, and the next weekend I took her to a cutting horse trainer, and we learned how to do the cattle stuff, and that's the only time that she's ever been hot or I felt like I had something under me that could kill me. Yeah. But then once she figured it out, because he has this big round arena, and then he has this big longhorn cow in there, and then he's got a bunch of little smaller cows, and she was scared, but all we did was just keep trotting around them. They stayed in the middle, and we just trotted around them, and then she realized that they weren't that scary, and then it was scary when they moved, but then she was at the end able to cut them off and move one around, and then I realized what I needed to do and what I needed to work on, and she just blows my mind. When I took her to the ranch show, we were the only people practicing on the ranch course because for once in my life I was the first person there, and so I got on right away because I had 2 horses with me, and I was like, I'll just get her done real quick. And they have that water feature, and so I wasn't sure, I hadn't done water on her, and she just went right on in and was perfect. Awesome. And never did a gate on her.
Great.
And she was perfect, did it better than the older horse that I had that was there with me.
Yeah. Somebody was asking for some advice today in the RRP group. I'm not sure if you saw the post, but they're trying to figure out their second discipline. They were like, "Oh, I was thinking maybe ranch work," and people were like, "It's hard."
Yeah,
it's a commitment.
It's commitment because they're like, one, you have to be comfortable with cows because if you get through the preliminaries, you have to actually sort the cows in the finale.
But even in the preliminaries, you have to open a gate, walk through the cows, and then close the gate.
Yeah, and it's a full gate. It's not a rope gate.
Yeah, it's a locking gate, which is that's way harder.
Yeah, so that to me is that's up here in terms of
the thing that got me last year was that I wasn't prepared for, because I had watched the years before. On YouTube, you can watch the finale and you can watch different things and or find people who posted their trail courses or whatever. And so there were a few things that I wasn't prepared for last year. They just randomly added a calf roping dummy, so you had to drag a calf roping dummy, and I had only dragged logs.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, I don't know.
And they're big.
Yeah, really big. So it just looks like a big black blob on the ground, and the ranch work is in the Coliseum, so there's the big Jumbotron, and the Jumbotron is showing all the listings and the sponsors, and so it's shining onto the black blob and then changing lights. And that, so I couldn't even get Yubi to do it. He was so scared, and he's not a scared horse, but it was like visually, it was very scary with the lights on it and everything.
Yep.
And then usually you just drag it in a circle, but they wanted to drag it in a figure 8. So that means that the rope at some point is going to come behind your horse's butt.
Yeah.
And you're going to be dragging it behind your horse's butt. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, why did I do this as a second discipline? So one of the things is that you can't skip something. You have to try it, and then you have to make an attempt, and then you can put your hand up and move on to the next thing, because you only have a certain amount of time. So, it's one of those things. Now I know what to prepare for, right?
Yeah.
Expect the unexpected. But it is one of those things that you really shouldn't add on as a funsy.
Yeah, no, I feel like that would be your first focused discipline, because everybody was if you feel really confident about your first discipline, if you really want to do a second one, your horse is pretty confirmed on the flat, maybe do dressage or do something else that's just a little bit more chill, so that you're not just piling it on your horse.
And when I was there and I saw the trail course, I half thought about scratching out of it when I was at RRP, because I was like, he's doing so good in the barrels. Why would I want to blow him up right now? I don't want to create a bad situation for him or make him sour for the barrels, because we had won the
barrels. Yeah.
What was the name of the horsemanship pattern? And so I was like,
that's right. Yeah.
We're in a good position with that. And so then I didn't feel like I did good in my ranch pattern. And then I was like, I'm just going to scratch out of the trail because I feel like this is too much. And I am an overthinker. But I just felt like I was going to overdo it with him, and then he'd be too tired for his barrel run that night. And then, but then I did the ranch pattern and I was in third, and I was like,
I guess I'll keep on going.
Right. Worst that I could do is tank it and see what happens. And we did kind of tank it. But we still ended up 9th overall. So I was pretty proud of that. So,
which this year would have you in the prize money. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it was only
top 5 last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to come back to something that you said about Fuzzy's physical condition and how she was so tight and rigid in her body. And I have also dealt with some of those issues with Oscar in terms of either mental or physical things. And what's a piece of advice you would give somebody when I would call that sort of a stumbling block of your timeline with a horse, especially if you have a goal in mind, right? But how do you factor giving a break or allowing for that in your trajectory of bringing a young thoroughbred along?
The big things that really helped us were I let my horses live out 24/7. Peppy lives out, Fuzzy lives out. And does it make for the most beautiful coats right now? No. And this early summer was really tough. Fuzzy got rain rot, and
it's a bad summer for rain rot, huh?
Yeah, it was really bad. And then they got sun bleached, and there's all of those factors. And obviously, because I've done this prepped horses and sales prepped yearlings and stuff, I know how quickly you can change that. So I feel pretty confident the horses have now started to come in for preparation, because obviously they need to be able to stall and stuff like that. So we've hit the point in our journey where they're starting to stall and really pump the feed to them and all of that stuff. But for her, I felt like turnout was the best thing I could do for her. And then she had body work, and she's really smart and a really fast learner. So I think we've talked about it before about marinating, and I don't really, honestly, sometimes I feel 20-minute ride you can get more out of than just drilling and drilling and drilling. And
we were just talking about that yesterday. We were making some content for the podcast, and we talk a lot about don't get greedy with these horses, but we really mean is stuff like that, where it's you're teaching them a new concept, and you get those little light bulb moments. And when do you put them away, and when do you push it too far?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the big thing, is that I'm so grateful that I've had so many experiences, and know that there's a time to push and there's a time to accept. I think I've talked about it before, is 1% better every day. So if I'm trying to school the side pass or something, if I get one step and I get what I want, I just either go on and do something else, or I end for the day.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's days where we're working on conditioning and endurance and things like that. But I'm very lucky because the property that I'm at, it's 162 acres. And so we have a lot of ride out. So I do a lot of that with the horses. And I feel like that helps their brain. I feel like it helps their body. And I just try to make it like fun for them. And I really don't try to hammer anything down. It's just, I just am looking for responsiveness and listening and things like that. And then sometimes I'm just like, hey, you know what? We've had a rough couple of weeks. Here's a week. Let's see what happens after a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find so many times though you give them that time and they come back better.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel you have to read your horse as an individual, but I just feel like it's easy to get them sour and for them to look at you as, oh, you're only here for this. And the thoroughbreds are so sensitive that you really have to work on that bond versus I demand this of you because they don't like that.
It's interesting that you say that because, not to keep bringing up Oscar, but the farm that we were at before, he was in the lower barn, which is not like the boarding barn. So he was not in the more frequently visited barn. And he was turned out overnight and he was in his stall during the day. And it's a really nice big stall and everything like that. But it's not a place where I would go and hang out. Mm-hmm. It's where all the mares and foals come in for the day, and it's just got their little space. And I realized after moving him and having him front and center and in my face all the time that there was this big missing piece of the relationship, which was really bonding. It wasn't just me showing up, going and collecting him, bringing him up to the cross ties, doing stuff with him and expecting him to work and then putting him away. I now had an opportunity to sit on my trunk with a stall guard there. It sounds really stupid and simple.
No.
It's like all of that stuff that really enhances their personality, brings out their inner sparkle. And I don't know, he has transformed since I moved him. He has transformed personality-wise enormously.
Yeah. No, I can totally relate because actually I find it sometimes hard because I live here, I work here. And so trying to make it not be like mechanical or methodical or whatever can sometimes be really hard. So honestly, the most bonding experiences I've had with the horses is off the property. And I just feel like we have that moment to be together. We're waiting and we're just like having nice moments. And then when we are home, the most beautiful moments that I have with them are actually lived through my child.
I was going to say, it would have to be with Ellie, right?
Yeah, she's just so magical. And the horses just are so like magnetized to her. She's just a ray of light, and seeing the childhood wonder and stuff sparks that in me. And then it makes me remember, okay, this is what the horses want. The horses don't want somebody who has an agenda. And I find I have a couple horses here right now that sometimes like I have like teenagers here and stuff, and being a teenager is hard, right? So sometimes all you want to do is get through the work or rush around or do it as fast as you can because I don't pay by the hour, I pay by the shift. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it takes you however long, then that's on you. But if you get it done in the normal amount of time, you're going to make $25 an hour.
Yeah.
But so if you're not like present and your goal is just to get things done and rush and you're working with OTTBs, some of them just aren't going to tolerate that. And I have one like that right now. And she will spin around in circles in the stall for 10 minutes. And then if I go in there and just take a deep breath and I'm like, hey, we're just going to go outside right now. And it's not like, hey, we're going to go outside right now. And you need to put your halter on right now. And I understand where the kids are coming from. But as a mom or just as an adult, I just realized nobody likes that. Nobody wants to feel rushed, and they don't know why you're rushed.
Yeah. They just pick up on your energy.
So I do try to be very mindful of my energy. And I know as soon as my horses, if I'm having a day, I know as soon as I start to get that frustrated feeling, I'm like, this is not them. This is me. I need to be done.
Yeah.
I need to go do something else.
Go do something else because
Take a breath.
there's nothing positive is going to come from that. And we all have our days, and there's nothing wrong with it saying, oh, I'm having a really bad day, and I'm like, you have to leave your baggage at the door. So like, that's a big,
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry.
So I didn't know. No, you're fine. I didn't know if there was a
No, I'll just keep talking.
conclusion. But...
I'll just keep talking. It just made me land the plane already.
All right. So ladies, speaking of landing the plane, this is August 25th. How many days out from the makeover are we?
5 weeks or so.
It's 45 days, or it's probably less than that.
Probably less than that. It's October 8th, right? Is when
it starts,
officially,
7,
officially
14,
the competition
21, 28. I can't do math. Okay.
Neither can I. That's why I asked you guys.
What comes after 28?
I don't even know what you're doing.
35.
I went to college for fine arts. And
35, 42.
Trainer.
Yep.
Okay.
Heard. I think you're in good company there.
You know what, though?
Days.
42. Okay. Till the actual competition.
So almost 6 weeks.
No.
It could be more.
Wait.
And this will air next week, so it'll be closer.
Wait, Chelsey,
anyway.
Chelsey, I want to make you feel slightly better because the girl that leases my event horse is so lovely and so kind. And I found out today that she went to Harvard. I went to art school. We are not the same people. And you know what's the great thing about horses? They just care if you have cookies or not. They
it's
just
the great
my
equalizer.
horse. We were joking about it. She's like, he doesn't care that I went to Harvard. I was like, I know, but I'm very impressed.
I'm intimidated.
I think we know the answer to this question, but have you put in your final entries yet? And then we want to hear about your final chosen disciplines. We know Fuzzy, but what about Peppy? We know you haven't put your entry in.
Yeah.
What are you waffling between?
It's all typed out. It's all ready to roll, but I just haven't pressed send, which honestly, that's a really big deal for me. Everybody should be clapping because typically at 5 p.m., ones that do the 29th, Friday at 5 p.m.
Yeah. Like I'm going to circle back to you on Friday at 4:30 and be like, you just have a little like tapping foot emoji.
I know.
Happening?
I'm so bad. But like this year, it's mostly just because I really haven't decided. So obviously I've made my decision with Fuzzy and that was hard for her, but I just felt like she really enjoyed the cow thing and she seems to really enjoy doing the, like when we went to the double C thing, she did really good on the pattern and she had never done it before that we're going to do at the makeover. What else? Yeah, it just seemed like a good second fit. Obviously, I love barrel racing, so that's why I chose that, and she seemed like a good fit for it. But so for the second, it was like, do I do Western dressage or I do that? Because I think she's a really nice mover too, but I think I'm going to definitely stick to the ranch. But who knows? I might change my mind.
You've got a couple days.
Also, I heard that the Western dressage is actually kept in the same group as regular dressage. There's no difference.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is really fair because I feel like there's so many entries for dressage, classical dressage. Yeah. It feels like they should have a Western dressage division, but maybe they don't get enough entries.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's because of the entry thing, but I do feel like it should be different. I know there have been Western dressage riders who have won the entire thing.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Yeah, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, the Western or the dressage was won by a Western dressage rider, and that's lovely. But to me, it seems very daunting to show against
150 other people.
Yeah, I just feel like how can you differentiate the two? And I know that it's based on scores, right? So they're looking at each horse as an individual and then they're scoring it. So obviously it must have the same amount of points and all of that. So that must be how. But like to me, I don't know. It just seems a little daunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like equal. And then also, like, people around here will be like, oh, like, I'm going to go try and do a Western dressage test. And they're like, oh, that's so good. They score that so easy. And I'm like, why? Like, is that an insult? Should I not?
It seems harder to me, but I don't know. I don't know anything.
So where are you at with Peppy then?
Okay, so Peppy, obviously, he's the hunter prince. So, but now I keep going back and forth. Should I do Western dressage on him? Obviously, he's a really cute jumper. I'll do the show jumping. Then I was like, should I do competitive trail? And then I was like, ooh.
No.
Should I do freestyle? And then...
No.
But the big thing that's holding me back from doing the freestyle is that takes a lot of preparation, and that's not something that you can do by the seat of your pants. And like, you have to...
It's not?
Like, I'm just going to be crying, and I'm going to feel like like when you're a kid, or at least this was my childhood, you had to make up a dance to get a sleepover.
Oh. What?
No?
Who did you have to dance for?
We would be like, oh,
Are you okay?
if we make up a dance and put it on for you guys, can my cousins sleep over?
Oh my God.
That's so
But
funny.
that was really just a ploy so that we would just stay busy and leave everybody alone.
Right,
Now that I'm a mom, I'm like,
Right.
you guys didn't want to see our dance.
Now you get it.
Yeah.
You just wanted
I
us
wanted you to get
stay
out of my
busy.
hair for 10 minutes.
I think it's funny that I suggested maybe you try eventing with him.
I
and you were like,
know.
oh, no, I couldn't do that.
Definitely.
I'm not brave enough. I'm like, have you seen barrel racing? I'm sorry.
I
Have you seen
know.
barrel
Come on.
Then you can combine all of the fun things.
Yeah.
So,
no,
no.
The nice thing about show jumping, I'm a little sad that they took out the grid portion of the show jumping, because I feel like for green horses, that would really just show you like their potential. But I guess you have to do like a flat portion and then a over fence portion for jumpers.
Chelsea's
I don't
not the
know.
authority.
I didn't think there was.
See?
I
I
didn't
actually
think there
read
was
the rule book.
Yeah,
I think they might be like combined. It might be like you
Yeah,
go
so-
in and
So I want to
So
say,
if you had to
because I
put
did
your entry in today,
Emily's trying to wrangle
I'm
us.
I'm trying to herd the cats. I got told I need to herd cats. So I can do that. So if you had to press send
Right now.
after we stop recording, so yes, right now, what would be on Peppy's discipline list?
Western
Hunters
Western
and-
dressage.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because
I thought you were going to say jumpers for sure.
The thing for me was like, is it really fair to ask him to jump so much? Is that going to be a lot? And I do feel like the jumps at the makeover are like very flowery, there's a lot of filler in there, and he jumps really hard and tries his little heart out. And I'll be honest with you, like, it's been many years for me since I've been like competing in the hunter jumper world. So I just am hoping that I'm going to be accurate. So like, why would I put myself through another like accuracy thing? And also I don't think it's like whipping and turning and doing the jumpers like crazy and stuff, but
Two horses, you need to have his best interests in mind.
and
There's
so
going to be a lot going on.
It's definitely a lot of jumping in a couple of days.
Yeah. So anyway, so I think where we lost some time with the hoof abscess and stuff, I just want to focus on the hunters. And then I feel like the Western dressage, he can do a training level test. And, and then part of me is still, I want to do the freestyle though. Cause like I can drag my daughter's little kiddie pool around and it's unicorns. And I was like, maybe we do something about unicorns and we bring the little pool and
oh my gosh,
but like,
that would be so fun.
I'm so unorganized that I feel like it'll give me like, and I'm just not good at preparing things. Like I'm very good. I was the kid who stayed up and did crunch time for my art finals and stuff and was up until 4 o'clock.
Oh yeah, I think that you're preaching to the choir right now.
I can't do that at the makeover because I also still live in showgroom world where I'm like, I got to be at the show by 5 o'clock in the morning, and I go out there and I do night check at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and then and then I have to worry about the other stuff. So I'm like, if I add putting on a routine that isn't made up for me, that's going to literally push me over the edge. And I'm going to be crying, trying to set up, like I'm building something outside as I'm supposed to go in. That's going to...
Emily's like, you are slowly dismantling Neve's confidence over here.
No, I'm just picturing us all there, and I know I'm going to be the mom.
I'm going to have two moms there. I'm going to have you and Katie, and it's going to be great because you're.
We're going to be momming.
There's going to be a lot of momming going on.
All right, so let's switch gears and talk about the yearlings that you foaled that you just got to show at the Virginia Thoroughbred Association Futurity. How was that? Other than dislocating your shoulder.
Other than dislocating my shoulder. I'll get into that story next. But no, it was really cool. I don't work full time for that farm anymore. I do the foaling there in the winter. But last year I worked there full time before I took the position here at the 1789. And so I had foaled all those babies. I think we did 25 babies last year. And so the Virginia bred program is growing exponentially. There's so many benefits to breeding thoroughbreds in Virginia. And so one of the ways that they're also including that is this Virginia Thoroughbred Association Yearling Futurity. There's 4 classes. There's the Virginia bred colts, Virginia bred fillies, then there's Virginia certified colts, and the certification program in Virginia is you send your out-of-state bred horse here for 6 months, and it makes them eligible for different races and purses here in Virginia. And then there's the Virginia certified fillies. So I showed a Virginia bred colt, and we won that class. It was his half sister, same mare, won the Virginia Thoroughbred Yearling Futurity last year. I did not show her, but I helped. My husband actually does a lot of the prep and things. This year he did almost all of the prep, and he's the reason for how well everything went yesterday, because the colts were wild about a month ago. And so he did all of the prep, which includes handling them daily. They round pen, they walk, they bathe, they clip, they do all of those things, but obviously the round penning and the walking is the most important parts, and getting not feral. So I was just lucky enough to just show up and show them yesterday.
Yeah.
But it was still really cool because, so the Virginia bred colt, we had 2 in that class that I foaled both of them. And the colt that I showed, he was born on Easter morning, and she called me at 6 o'clock in the morning and was like, the foal alert's going off. So I drove over there as fast as I could. And because I was only living 8 minutes from there before I get there, help pull baby out. And it was so beautiful because I'll send you the picture, but it was so cool because the sun was literally coming up and through the stall door, and the baby is just on the ground, and it was just one of those miracle of birth moments.
Yeah,
this is so beautiful. It was like an easy foaling, and it was just really
Easter,
and it was Easter, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
And it was like a nice hour. It wasn't like
wasn't it 3:30 a.m. Yeah.
So it was really nice, and he was perfect. He got up and he nursed, and I just remember saying to my boss, Patricia, wow, he is beautiful. He is perfect. I like this colt a lot. So anyways, I was lucky enough to show him. And then we had another. So he's by Oscar Performance out of Jumpin' Nancy, who's a jump start mare. And then the other colt is by Frosted. And he was actually like the opposite. He did not have a nice story. His dam was wild. She was a maiden mare. She was really difficult. He could not figure out how to nurse. I think I was out there with him for 10 hours or something. And when I left first thing in the morning and swapped shifts, he still had not nursed. I was bottle feeding him. Wow. He was yelling to me. Yeah, he did not care about his mom. He was literally would hear me moving and then yell to me. I'm like, no, I'm not the mommy. Anyway, so he was in the class too. So in the Virginia bred colt class, I won with the Oscar Performance colt, and then the Frosted colt was second. And then
that's amazing.
Yeah. And then I showed a filly that I foaled. There were 2 fillies, or actually there was 4 fillies in the class. The Virginia bred fillies class was huge. There was I want to say 16 in it. And wow. we foaled 2 for Amy Moore, and she bred Forte, and she asked me to show one of the ones that I foaled, who is a Jackie's Warrior filly, and we got 3rd in the class, which was that's still huge. It was a big class.
Yeah.
And she was really pretty, really classy filly. They did a great job prepping her. Erminio did not prep those ones because they just live locally. And then the other filly that I had bred, Amy showed herself, and she was 1st in the class. And then
it's amazing.
We didn't have any Virginia certified colts, but then I showed a Virginia certified filly by McKinsey, and I love the McKinseys, and she won it. And then I had to turn around.
You're just winning everything.
I know. Oh my God.
Yeah. And then I handed her off to one of the girls who she also preps. She prepped the fillies and stuff. And so she took her in the ring, and I had to show the Oscar Performance colt. And as we were walking in the ring, obviously he's still a colt. So showing with the fillies and stuff, he was like a little more hoarse as we were going in. And as we were going in, he like reared up and yanked my shoulder, and then it popped out. And then I popped it back in real quick. And I was in so much pain, but it was in the Grand Champion class. So they take the top 2 of each class, and then you have to show them all together. And so obviously they're looking for things like a big athletic walk, good conformation. Yeah. And so anyways, so I wasn't sure how it was going to go. But he was big and rangy and has a super athletic walk, and just getting him to stretch his neck out and like really show off his big shoulder and everything was great. And then we won it. And the shoulder the shoulder dislocation was not for nothing.
Oh boy.
But I was like,
I'm shocked. I'm shocked they put the colts and fillies together.
I feel like they do plenty with that.
Yeah.
Where they're just kind of they're young enough that somebody should be able to keep a hold of them.
Yeah, hold on tight, everybody.
Oh, he's my kitten. I was just looking up Oscar Performance. I hadn't heard of him before, but he's my kitten's joy.
Oh, nice.
I have a theatrical mare. So,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'll take one of those, please.
Yeah, we'll just keep them on hold for you guys.
Yeah, just bookmark that one for her. You'll mark that one for when he's done racing.
The mare throws really nice babies. She's a jump start. So.
I know, jump starts are so athletic. Wow. It's got to be really cool for you because you've hinted towards this on Facebook a lot. When you see these horses come back around, they start racing, they start having success on the track and everything. Do you feel like when you're in this situation with them for these yearling shows and things like that, do you feel like I think this one's going to be really special, not just like from a conformation standpoint, but for the horse that has all of the components?
Yes. Yeah. I feel like there's been ones that came out, and the minute they came out, I was like,
you just knew. Yeah.
Yep. This one.
Yeah.
And then there's some that I just love to death, but I know they're never going to be a racehorse.
You're going to be such a good sport horse. I can't wait to see you again.
Honestly, I have one that I've reached out to the assistant trainer and been like, hey, because, okay, so this was my first year showing yearlings that I actually foaled. And I never thought anybody would ask me because I was just like little old barn.
Because who cares about Chelsey O'Brien? There's nobody that nobody's just
like in articles. And
oh my gosh.
You need to stop it.
But I don't know. Sometimes, I don't know. I just didn't think anybody would want me to show them. And I didn't even think I was qualified to do that. So I reached out to the assistant trainer and I was like, I'm really interested in this one because I just love her. Dream horse, except not a racehorse. And she wrote back and said, okay, I'll let the owners know just in case. And obviously she will never have to worry about anything in her life. She has fabulous owners that would keep her for the rest of her life. But part of me is, I hope that they'll just sell her to me so I can take her to RRP so that can be like my full circle moment. Like
that would be so incredible.
I want to RRP on something that I fold.
That would be unreal.
That's the pipe dream.
That's the dream, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm big on the manifestation stuff.
Well,
okay. Yeah. Let me manifest it for you too.
I think it's a new
Maybe
move.
they'll even just keep her and you can train her and ride her too. I don't know.
Yeah. No. Oh yeah. Even if we didn't go to RRP, I would literally love that thing. we had such a weird bond with her. It was like the first year that Erminia foaled, and it was the first baby that, like, she's the only baby that stayed with us the entire season because the mom was never getting bred back. So we got to handle her every single day, and she was tough. And when she was born, we named her Pistol because she was such a pistol. but then we just started calling her Baby because every time we'd go to the paddock, she'd leave her mother and come screaming for us.
I think that would just be like such an incredible full circle moment if that could ever happen for you.
That would be very good.
Certainly, we've all experienced this, and to some degree, where you had this horse in training and it went up to the upper levels or whatever the case might be. It is really beautiful to be connected to their journey, however long that might be.
Yeah, and it's just mind-blowing because some of the babies that I've foaled or have worked with have gone on to do such amazing things. I don't even know how many stakes races have been won this year by babies that I've foaled, but it's been insane. And then Mindframe, who I yearling prepped, he's going to go to Breeders' Cup, and I think he's running in the Gold Cup. I think they keep changing it. He was supposed to run in something else, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but they scratched him the day of because his owner also owns Fierceness, and I think they didn't want them to race against each other or something. But I think they are going to race again. From what they're saying on the interwebs is that he's slated for Gold Cup. But anyhow, so it's just cool. Like, it's just really cool.
Gosh.
And then a mare that I've foaled the last 2 years. I didn't foal her 3 years ago, but my boss did. And that one just won a big race in Saratoga and was like on the TDN Rising Star list.
Oh, nice.
So
that's amazing.
So it's just cool.
I'm looking
There's a lot of cool
so
stuff.
he's run 7 times and he's won 5 of those times, and he's
wow,
the other 2 times. That's outrageous.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What are his earnings?
1.8 million.
Dang, good boy. That's amazing. That's
oh my
really,
god!
You gave him
Let me tell you something. He was the
you
easiest.
give him some of your good juju.
He was the easiest. He was the easiest yearling we had to prep. But he had this.
Wait, I have a question. Did Zelly have anything to do with this baby?
Mindframe?
Yeah.
Or the one that I want?
Did she like touch the baby? Because maybe she's the magic component.
Well, it's very possible. It's very possible. She did break them all of strollers because she was in a stroller and I'd just walk the aisle and stuff with her in the stroller.
Right, park her in the
just learning how to walk and like running down the aisle with feed buckets and stuff. Or
so cute.
But yeah, no, actually he was probably the easiest yearling ever. He was so good. I remember braiding his little mane. I taught him how to bathe. He was so easy. I remember putting a little pom-pom, like a little unicorn ponytail in his hair. And we really weren't expecting him to. He sold for $600,000 at Keeneland. And when we were watching the sale, it just kept going up and we're like, what?
Whoa,
what?
Yeah. The breeding is there, right?
Yeah, Constitution and his mom is fabulous and comes from a great family, but man, it was just shocking. We had no idea. Like, honestly had no idea. So
cool. And
even his owner breeder was absolutely shocked. We weren't expecting that. But and then
almost no inbreeding.
And almost no inbreeding, which is Emily's favorite.
then it's wild when they go on and they do things because sometimes they sell for that much money and then never make a thing.
Yeah, they do nothing.
You get them for free.
Usually.
You get them for free. And you look up their auction records and you're like, whoa. Somebody had high expectations for this horse on the track, but guess what? I think he'll make a nice pleasure horse. My old boss didn't like it very much. One time we were out and we had this gun runner colt that I had foaled, but there was a big puddle in front of the running shed and I don't know, we were doing something and my boss was out there and the gun runner colt out of a really nice like multiple graded stakes winning mare jumped the puddle like it was like, oh my god, the knees like up to like
ears.
A proper like Grand Prix show jump.
Yeah, it was fabulous. And I'm like, Larry, if he doesn't make a race horse,
he's gonna have a different career. Yeah.
He was like, I don't like when you say these things.
Right.
And then there's one, and then he's like, yeah, can you make a racehorse first? Then we can talk about that. So then I've followed his racing career and stuff. And his first few starts were like really unimpressive. And I was like, oh no. And then I think he won a stakes race like 2 weeks ago.
Randomly.
Yeah. He got it together and maybe ran one stakes race or ran something, and then he ran an allowance and was good in it like the other day. Anyhow, he's fine now. I guess he's a racehorse. But there's other ones where I'm like, oh, Larry, this would make a great barrel prospect. Can you please stop?
He's knocking off.
Money on these things.
Yeah, I know. It's wild. Like the cycle of racehorses is really interesting to me, for sure. We're going to move on here to your training philosophy and tips that you might want to share with some of our listeners. You've started so many thoroughbreds, and do you have a single training tip or exercise that you swear by that every OTTB owner should know?
So it's not necessarily a training tip or something that I do with my horses, but it's something that I do because I ride English and Western. So a big thing that I have trouble with people is that they worry so much about their head, but then they don't really understand riding through the outside rein, and they try to turn them too much off the inside hand, and they try to hold their heads up and stuff, and you just can't do that. You have to find that fine line of giving, and like the kids that I have that ride with me, I'm like, you got to ride like a monkey right now, because I need you to ride off of your weight in your seat, and I want you to turn. Yeah. But you just have to think about, from a racehorse perspective, if they want them to turn, they're not yanking them in the direction they want them to go. You know what I mean?
They're like shifting a little weight.
Yeah. And so I try to explain to people that's a big thing. And that's where I find people struggle the most, is that like they want them to go in the direction, so they pull in that direction. But then they drop out their shoulder, and then the horse is going sideways, and they're mad and start pulling that the rein that they want them to go to even more. And then they're popping the shoulder even harder. Yeah. The biggest thing that I work on is straightness. I will work horses on a 20-meter circle forever. And I find that to be a good way to do transitions and things. When I was growing up, I had a trainer who had me work on the circle constantly, but think of it as a clock. So at 12 o'clock, we're going to do this. And at 6 o'clock, we're going to do this. And at 3 o'clock, we're going to do this. And be very concise about what you want, and really work on that clock and make a plan. And then just focus.
I like that analogy of a 20-meter circle. Emily can attest to setting up flower pots on a 20-meter circle for me and try to get me to ride it. And every time I knocked over a flower pot, it was one margarita. It was negative one margarita.
I think I still need to collect on these
I think you do too.
That you speak of, because I don't know that you made it around a single time.
But I do like the idea of, I think about that a lot when I'm riding, where I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick a point to make a transition. I'm going to prepare for the transition. I'm going to make it deliberate. And I think those types of focus points are so good when you're working with a young horse. And Emily's taught me a lot of this. Okay, you want to prepare for a downward transition. What's your brain thinking? How do you prepare for that transition? What is your body doing? How are you going to set your horse up for it? There's a lot of stuff.
Don't fall into a heap.
Don't fall into a heap. Oh my God, that is
it's not
riveted into me.
Yeah, and sometimes you're like, okay, at this spot you're gonna walk, and then instead of like preparing for it, you're just like, like and just
I'm sorry. I find your analogy of ride like a monkey very timely, because we've actually been trying to put together a little video series where I'm riding Neve's horse, Oscar, and teaching about contact and about how to move off the leg, go from inside leg to outside rein. And sometimes you have to not look very while you're doing that.
It's very uncomplicated.
You have to move a lot because you're trying to get him to understand the step over.
Yeah, and that's the big thing in my training, especially coming from like now. Like, I wouldn't even call myself a Western trained rider, but from riding Western for so long, I find that actually my English riding is more effective now. My leg might not be as tight as it used to be, but what I find is that I can be more dynamic in the saddle, where when I'm trying to teach people Western, and I'm like, and they're coming from English backgrounds, eventers who want to try barrel racing, those type of personalities go very well together. So they come,
I can imagine.
But the problem is that when you're riding English, I feel like we're taught to lock our hips down and lock our heels down, and you don't get the movement. And so I'm like, honestly, you got to be like butter. You got to just move with it. And like, people don't realize how much their legs play a role in it, or like where their hips are, or just the movement of your shoulders can change so much about them. And so I feel the more you can become dynamic in the saddle versus like stagnant and locked down, the more at least for me, I find my training can progress much faster. And I am not a pretty rider. I'm not going to lie to anybody and say, oh, wow, I'm like, I have never been a pretty rider. My sister growing up, she was a kid who could go and not ride for a month, and I school her horses for her. She'd go to summer camp and she'd meet us at the horse show on the weekend and go win everything because she had such beautiful equitation, but she was so ineffective.
Yeah. No, whereas I'd rather be effective than pretty.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, doing the like ranch stuff has also changed a lot for me. I don't know if it's just like becoming an adult or just not getting frustrated by these things anymore and learning to enjoy the technical aspects of things. But I just think it's really cool to think about maneuvers and how they can work in the real world. Whereas when I was doing the 100 jumper stuff consistently, I was like, why are we doing this? Where like, I feel like, oh, we're doing this and it's for a job and a purpose. And this is why the horse has to do this. And like, for me, I need that kind of why, but also I feel like the horses understand and doing the technical stuff helps their brain too. Those are the big things that I've found recently. I don't know if that's going to help anybody or if it makes sense. I don't know how telling people ride like a monkey is going to help.
So when I did that clinic with Emily Greenfield, I asked her, she's, what do you want to work on? I was like, there's some obvious holes in our training. And I was like, but also I was like, one of the things I know we're going to have to do with the makeover is we're going to have to side pass over a pole at some point in competitive trail. And she's okay. And I was like, and he just doesn't really get the concept of moving over. He'll do it in hand, but he like doesn't really understand it under saddle. So that's when she taught me this drift, which was like stepping into your outside leg and scooping them over with your hip and actually moving their shoulders. And that's the start of the side pass, right? So if you can get them to do that, and then you can turn them towards, the rail, you can start to ask them those baby steps of it. And I have used that technique between Oscar and Jem so much. It's so useful. The thing it does for me is it makes me loosen up the part of my body that's always the tensest, which is like my hip area, my hip joint. Yeah. So if I just get on and I start my warm up and I start thinking about shift his shoulders this way, go back the other way, go straight for a little while, it's amazing what that actually does for me as a rider, as well as loosening up and straightening up the horse.
And another thing like that, because I've been doing a lot of teaching lately, is I find that something that helps, and I don't even know if I'm right or wrong on this, but I just try to tell people like, your shoulders are their shoulders and your hips are their hips. So if you want the shoulders to come around like this, you got to bring your shoulders around like this and follow. And and then if you want their hips to roll underneath them, roll your hip underneath you, and then bring everything around. But you have to think about how your body relates to their body, because they mirror things, and they say horses are the great mirrors, and they're just trying to mirror or mimic kind of what you're doing, and we have to help that. And anyways, I don't know if that's helpful either, but I think for some people that can help. Like,
we're just going to throw this whole podcast in the
throw it out,
because there's nothing good in here.
Who's Chelsey O'Brien?
Anyways, honestly,
I'm such a
stop it. No, I think that was very relatable, and I think both Neve and I have been doing very similar things. Yeah. So that's actually very cool to hear. I think we wanted to look ahead a little bit to any next big milestones or prep for Peppy and Fuzzy in our countdown to the makeover. Anything coming up?
So, yes.
Chelsey gets real serious. She got real serious. She got called into the headmaster's office.
I know. She's like, the fun's over. Mom's here.
Yeah, no. I am basically I have been showing almost every single week, sometimes 3 times a week, or going to, my truck has been hooked to my trailer more than it's been off of the trailer. And right now, like, I took Fuzzy to a barrel race this past weekend. That was fabulous. Peppy's going to so every week on Tuesdays from now until the makeover, I'll be taking Peppy to a lesson. And then what else do we have? Sometimes I feel like, I'm sure other people relate to this, but sometimes I'm like, I'm not meant to do that, because I'll be like, the one horse show that I'm thinking about bringing Peppy to, there's a couple little local hunter shows, but then it's still local, but it's like at the Upperville horse show, but it's not
there. That's a great location.
Absolutely. Can you imagine the photos?
I know. I'm like, we're going to do it for the
And they have so many different rings. It's not like you have to be in like some big scary ring. All the rings are beautiful there.
What better prep?
And I actually only live like 30 minutes from Upperville.
Yeah.
I think we're going to do it. But I just I was going to do, unfortunately, his hoof abscess coincided with the actual Upperville horse show. And they have they have a whole thoroughbred afternoon.
Yeah.
And so I was going to do we were only going to go and do the too slow to go class, but I thought it would be cool to do anyways. But so I still have the opportunity to go show at the showgrounds, and it's a bucket list thing.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful place. You really should.
Yeah, so we're going to do that. September 1st, I have another lesson with the cutting trainer for Fuzzy. I've got to get Fuzzy doing the rope. I got to do roping and dragging, and I've got to work on my gait stuff, and I've got to work on dragging things. But I'm feeling pretty confident. Not confident, but I'm feeling like good about where we're at in the barrel racing thing. Mm-hmm. We have a horsemanship clinic that's going to come here to the farm, and also
awesome.
Yeah, when I said I would like manifest things, I really believe that, because so I grew up like in the early 2000s, like horse show hunter jumper world, and so the trainers are like really harsh, but I like crave that still. I want somebody to be mean to me, and I don't want somebody to pat me on the back and say, "Oh,
no, I get it." Yeah. You want criticism that's going to make you better.
Yes, and so it was really weird, because I have these neighbors who come and rent the arena. They'll come once a week or so, and they showed up and they're like, "Oh, our trainer's coming, but he's from out of state, and I hope you don't mind." I'm like, "Okay, a little late now, but okay." And so, anyway, so he came and I recognized him from Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, like we have mutual friends and stuff." And anyways, he was like, "Why don't you come down here and ride with us?" And so then I got on Ubi, and then I was riding, and I was preparing for Ubi's first rodeo, which is like on little tiny dirt pen that's 2 strides between first and second barrel. And so anyways, he said to me, "Can I get on that horse?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" And he's like, "I can't stand to watch you ride him."
Oh, no.
Like, manifestation.
Whoa.
But he got after me, and then the next day he came out and he helped me with Fuzzy and stuff, and I got so much out of that, and I just needed somebody to push me like to the next level.
Yeah, that's
where
fair.
Like, sometimes maybe I could ask a little bit more. Sometimes without frying them out, I can still ask for things without not getting aggressive, but expecting a little bit more. Yeah. So anyway,
it's a horsemanship clinic.
He just does like ranch work type things, Western dressage, get the horses bending and flexing like in the Western way, and get them working off your leg a little bit, and helping me fine tune some of that stuff. So he's going to come and do that and teach some other people in the area. And they do roping too. So we'll probably try our hand at some roping too, not on live cattle, but they have the sled with the 4-wheelers. Yeah. So we'll do that. Nice. And then, hit a couple shows with Peppy and keep on going to our lessons. And it's Hail Mary time, right?
Yeah, it is.
And it's too late to turn back now.
It's too late to turn back now. And also, I'm just excited regardless. I feel really, and I'm sure you feel this way about your guys too, the journey that you go on with these horses in a short period of time, and the kind of mental gymnastics, as Emily would put it, that you put yourself through with what you think would be ideal and what's not, and all of the things that happen in between. It's really special. I'm getting it now.
Yeah.
I'm getting the experience that I, after interviewing you guys last year and being a part of your journey, being on that journey myself is definitely, it's giving me a lot of perspective, and it's also just making me feel really proud of my own journey. But
yeah, and I just think, in my experience, this now being the third year that I've done it and pushing myself to the max by taking 2, but I just feel like it's given me really cool confidence, because when people send me horses to train, often it's for 90 days max or something.
Sure, right. You're just putting a start on them. And
so then it's, okay, so I got them walk, trot, cantering and doing little jumps. But in 90 days, like, I can do it on my terms and on my pace, and I don't have to explain why I'm doing one thing, or I can feel it out, and I don't have to I have the pressure of the long-term goal, but
yeah,
I can take it how I want. I'm so blessed that Pastured Place trusts me to feel it out and trust me full-heartedly with what I do, because it is woo. But I feel like the journey
also, like,
itself,
sometimes you have to take a break.
Yeah. Sometimes I get a hoof abscess. Sometimes Chelsey gets Lyme disease. And so I just love what the makeover has done for me as a person. I feel so empowered by this journey.
Yeah.
I feel, wow, I can accomplish something and I can see it through from beginning to end. It's like training a horse is like making art, and every single one is going to be completely different. And it's like molding them and shaping them into your own version of what you want. And it's going to speak to some people. It's not going to speak to other people. And the journey's going to not be what somebody else wanted. But at the end, it's, oh my gosh, we started with this and now we're here. And for me, no matter what happens, I'm just proud of like how far we've come. And
absolutely.
And I think it makes it that much better when you can look at it with that perspective and you're not like, I don't know. It's just different. And everybody's on the same playing field. So it's not like you're like, oh, this person has a 6-figure horse and I'm not going to do it. We're all on the same playing field.
It's so funny, Chelsey, because I'm sure Emily can say the same, but every time we talk to you on the podcast, you say these things that I think give us chills. And I've written down these 5 or 6 things that I just took a picture of them with my phone, because we keep notes while we're interviewing just to have like little talking points or whatever. And then I think I have all of the good things that you've said. And then you say one thing that just blows me away. And Emily and I both have the same reaction to you. Training a horse is like making art. Because we're all artists. The 3 of us are all artists, which is really special that we all have both horses and art in common. But yeah, that's really beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Don't make me cry on here.
I literally was going to be like, Neve, make sure you take a note of what the timestamp on that to pull that quote out. No, very cool. I also have a full page of things I've written down that you've said.
Oh my gosh, stop it.
Yeah, so you can see my notes are like a mess, but
it seriously will make me cry, because I literally don't think that anybody should want to listen to what I have to say.
So after the makeover, here's a nice smooth segue. Are Peppy and Fuzzy going to be available for adoption? Or are they
going to be able to be tried at the makeover?
Peppy, yes. Peppy is available for adoption through Pastured Place. So that's obviously something I have to work on this week, is his ad for the
I don't think you have to have that finished for your final entry.
I don't know, because last year...
They just said, like, when I filled out my final entry, it was like, are you planning on selling, or are you planning on putting them in the marketplace? And I said yes. Okay. And they were like, which ad? And it was like this ad or this ad.
Oh, because
it was like a premier ad or a regular ad.
Recently, in my memories, a picture of Yubi showed up. His sale ad picture that I did last year showed up, and it was like, "Oh, got this in by 5 o'clock, like 4:59. Thank God."
Oh,
and so I was like, "Oh my gosh, did I miss it?"
All right, maybe I'll look into that. Well, because I remember you got that photo in under the wire.
Yeah, I do know they print the program.
Yeah.
So
Okay. All right. I'll look into it. Yeah, that's a good point.
Anyway,
So,
Peppy is available through Pastured Place.
Yeah, he's available through Pastured Place. He'll have a little listing at the RRP. So they do the Jumbotron and stuff. So he'll have a nice picture. I got to pick one of his cute little jumping pictures. I think those are always really catchy. I did a confirmation picture of Yubi last year, and then when I got there, I was like, all these jumping horses look so cool.
So an action shot.
Yeah, so I think I'll do the action shot of Peppy this time, and that makes my life easier because then I don't have to plan a whole photo shoot. but anyways, yeah, so Peppy will be available and Fuzzy will not be. And then I'm not sure, we haven't really discussed, like, Peppy can be tried at the makeover, or if somebody was interested in him now and wanted to reserve him for after the makeover. I've had a couple people reach out about that for him. He has like a lot of interest.
Okay. I'm sure.
Oh God, how many parts is this thing gonna be?
Probably two.
No, I looked at the time. I was like, oh my gosh, I just don't shut up.
It doesn't feel that when we're talking to you.
No, I don't.
We're
feel
very close to the end.
Yeah, we're close to the end. Don't worry.
No, but anyway.
Wrap it up, Chelsey. Wrap it up.
Okay. Peppy, triable. Fuzzy. So I co-own her with my neighbor, and
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when we get done, she'll either go back. I think eventually they'd like to breed her.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I'm hoping to still continue to compete on her. And actually, she's so lovely. I would love to keep her as a lesson horse because she's so easy. Anybody could ride her. She's just a doll baby.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that would be really cool.
Awesome.
I've taken her on fox hunt trail rides, like the not hound walking. I live here in fox hunt territory, but I don't know anything about fox hunting.
I live in fox hunt territory. It's like the wild frontier.
Right.
I'm in the Northwest Territory.
Coming from New
There's
England,
bears.
it does seem like a big thing. We just have houses.
Okay.
Well, it's funny, not to derail, but earlier when you were talking about disciplines you don't just add on, I feel like fox hunting would be not an add-on.
Now you have to prove that you're part of a hunt. They tightened up the rules, I think, because I feel like a lot of people were just, I'll just try, blah, blah, blah.
Right. But also the hounds, and there's a lot of potentially scary /
Yeah. Honestly,
wild
I would
things
have.
going on.
I think Peppy would do amazing in that, but I'm not. I'm not a fox hunter, and nobody's gonna vouch for me. And you already had to. You already had to have that in.
You had to have that for your application.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so I have a fun question for you, Chelsey, as we wrap up this episode, which is if Peppy and Fuzzy could talk right now, what do you think they'd say about their new jobs?
I think Fuzzy, is just a workhorse. She's just happy-go-lucky, ready to go out and do anything. And she's really started getting into chasing the cows. And I think she really likes that, but she's just game to do anything. I call her the female Yubi. They're so cool, both of them. And they're just so game to do anything. And I just love a horse that I can send them balls to the wall at the end of a barrel racing run and then just sit up and say, whoa, and they just kind of walk out.
Yeah.
And then
I'm drawing a picture of her right now with a cow. Hold on. Here's the picture. Hold on. There's the picture there.
Great picture.
Oh.
Is it?
Now I see it.
Is that a cow?
It's a cow.
It looks like a dragon. That's a
Oh my
dragon.
God.
It's got horns.
Well, I love it.
That's
I love it.
Oh my gosh.
So I think that
that'll be the cover art for your episode.
I love it. Please.
Okay, and then for Peppy, what would he say?
And then Peppy, I think that he would just be like, I don't know why you want to put this Western saddle on me. All I'm supposed to do is jump. But I guess I'm willing to try it if I must. But no, he's just, I'm not kidding. He was born to do this, be a hunter. I hope somebody's listening I want my next tip hunter, because this guy, he's going to be somebody's tip hunter champion. He could go and win the whole, go to championships and do so well. It's just what he was born to do, not be a racehorse.
You heard it here first, guys. So, looking for you, 2026.
I'm pretty good at picking winners.
And manifesting.
Oh,
and manifesting.
Hold on. Now you're picking winners. Yep.
I love it. All right.
Heard it here first. Chelsey, it is always so much fun catching up with you. Thank you for sharing your updates. And we will also, of course, post your contact info and Pastured Place's contact info so people can reach out about trying Peppy, the future hunter champion. And don't forget, for more behind the scenes updates and bonus episodes, come hang out with us on Patreon.
And if you like what you heard today, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps other people find our podcast. And you can find us on all social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and you can send us an email at www.ottbontap.com. We love hearing from you. Cheers.
I like to punk Neve by
not leaving an actual outro.